What does Eric Hovind mean when he says the word evolution? It sounds like a simple question, and it is, but it's got a very interesting answer, because when Eric talks about evolution and uses the word evolution, he clearly does not mean the mechanism by which life diversified on the planet Earth. What Eric Hovind means is complete 100% atheistic philosophical naturalism. That is, that everything has a natural cause and nature is all that there ever was or ever shall be. I want to point out that this is not evolution in scientific terms, nor is it evolution by any of the 6 definitions of evolution. The fact that Eric Hovind uses the word evolution to describe philosophical naturalism becomes very apparent when you watch his promo video.
There are over 33,000 verses in the Bible, and the credibility of every one hinges on the truth of the very first one. For if God did not create in the beginning, then he's a liar.
And there you have it. Evolution is not a theory of the creation of life or the universe. It is the path and mechanism by which life diversified once it and the universe already existed. What Eric means when he uses the word evolution is not evolution at all. What he means is pure atheistic philosophical naturalism, which, as Eric will do to evolution in this video, encompasses the origin of the universe by natural means, abiogenesis, biological evolution, as well as an existence devoid of anything supernatural like a soul. For those of you who have seen his other videos, it's fairly obvious that this was always the case, particularly if you've seen his 6 definitions of evolution video. And the reason I'm bringing this up on his promo video is because he does such a good job of turning biological evolution into philosophical naturalism. From what we've seen of his videos so far, he's already put the origin of the universe in addition to biological evolution under the single banner, evolution. As his promo video progresses, I'll indicate the points at which he expands the term evolution to ultimately mean philosophical naturalism.
The team here at Creation Science Evangelism would love to present to your group some information that's been researched over the past 30 years.
You mean the same research that told you that fossilized clams are evidence of a flood, or that the Grand Canyon can only have been formed by a flood, or that the Colorado River runs in the opposite direction that it really does? That research?
This information is very effective at removing the stumbling block of evolution, strengthening people's faith in the Bible, and winning the lost to Christ.
Here we already see Eric implying that evolution is atheism, which is definitely not the case. And evolution is a stumbling block? Funny. It's very useful to people like Don Exodus 2 on YouTube and many other students of medicine, as well as many other professionals in the field of medicine. I'd also like to point out that Don Exodus 2 is a Christian.
For example, let's say that I have a patient that comes to me with an idiopathic oral infection, and I don't know exactly what's causing it. I can send it back for cultures and, send it to the lab. They can't come up with anything. What happens next is something called 16S ribosomal typing, which relies solely on evolution, placing that organism that we don't know what's causing this infection on the evolutionary tree. And only through placing it on the tree, which you guys say doesn't exist, is how we can determine what causes it and use evolution to treat it.
No, we're not denying.
Now understand, evolution is not a science. It is a world view.
I think this would be a good time to point out that philosophical naturalism is a worldview. Biological evolution, however, is not. For more information on how evolution is scientific, please go to YouTube and search How Evolution is Scientific. A user by the name of Shane Deck, if I'm pronouncing that right, has made a 6-part series describing how evolution fits the 6 criteria that make something scientific.
Just like Christianity is a worldview.
Yes, philosophical naturalism is a worldview, but at least it, at its core, is merely an extrapolated pattern of finding natural explanations for things that were previously thought to be supernatural. It's really just a projection of the general trend we as a human society have created.
So how is somebody that looks at the world through the lens of evolution going to view life? How are they going to answer the basic questions of life?
Instead of just answering for them and making the stuff up, maybe we should actually go out and ask people who accept the theory of evolution what they think.
Who am I?
Evolution tells us we're just an accident, the result of random chance. But the Bible says we are fearfully and wonderfully made in the image of our Creator.
The word accident denotes mistake. which is not how we categorize humans or any resulting organism that comes about by evolutionary processes. And evolution itself is not just a theory of random chance. There is an element of uncertainty to it in the form of mutations, but from there the completely non-random process of natural selection takes over. And the creationist answer Eric gives is no better than what 13-year-old Josh Christian 100 said about cosmology.
Anyway, the scientists are idiots because what would you rather believe in?
According to biological evolution, you are yourself. But that's hardly any help, is it? Evolution really doesn't say much about who you are as a person. According to atheistic philosophical naturalism, you are still you, and I for one like being me.
Where did I come from?
If you believe evolution is true, then you believe that you evolved out of this primordial soup. According to creation, you were designed by an incredible creator for a reason.
The scientists are idiots because what would you rather believe in?
And as promised, Eric Hovind is now slipping abiogenesis under the banner of evolution. Biological evolution does not include the phrase primordial soup. As for answering the question, at a basic level, you came from the germ cells of your mom and dad. Biological evolution says that you as a human came from earlier life forms. Philosophical naturalism says that you are the result of the laws of physics operating in our universe, and I for one don't find this prospect very depressing. However, that's supposed to work in Eric's mind.
Why am I here?
Evolution leaves us without an answer. There is no purpose to life. Creation, on the other hand, gives us both meaning and purpose for our lives.
The scientists are idiots because what would you rather believe in?
Look, Eric, I'm only going to say this once. Biological evolution does not preclude the flying spaghetti monster or any other supernatural entity from existing and proclaiming a purpose to our lives. As for philosophical naturalism and atheism, the answer would have to be, yes, there is no objective, singular, unarguable purpose to one's life. Deal with it. Perhaps somewhat redundantly, I'd like to point out that this is way outside the boundaries of what biological evolution in the scientific community is talking about.
Where am I going when I die?
Well, if evolution is true, don't worry about it. You got nothing to lose. But if creation is true, you have everything to lose by not considering this fundamental question of life.
I guess I will have to repeat myself, Eric. Biological evolution, again, does not preclude the possibility of some supernatural entity existing and, in this case, taking our consciousness somewhere after we die. At this point, Eric is now trying to expand the definition of evolution to include atheism as well as abiogenesis and cosmology. So in the context of biological evolution, this question really doesn't apply. As for the atheistic philosophical naturalist's answer, it's the classic case of Pascal's wager. Basically, it says it's safer to believe in belief X, Christianity, just in case it's right. A user I'm subscribed to on YouTube by the name of Clutchology has put out a brilliant video calling Pascal's bluff. I'm also reminded of the YouTube user Thunderfoot's Lightspeed Rhino example in his discussion with Ray Comfort.
So no matter what you do, you should always do this, just to be safe.
Isn't there a what if in your mind? What if God is real? What if this creation is
let me give you another what if. You cycle a lot, yes?
Yeah, I ride the bike.
Well, let me give you a what if. What if there's a light-speed rhino running about the roads, right? And because of relativity being what it is, if you get hit by that rhino, you'll be stuck in that moment of torment for eternity. So that's the way relativity works, right? So there is an infinite hazard of infinite pain. What if?
I want to make it clear here that I am not a philosophical naturalist. I don't believe in anything supernatural simply because there's no evidence for it, but regarding the origin of life in the universe, the fact is, we just don't know. And that actually seems to be very hard for Christian fundamentalists like Eric Hovind to understand. And his whole distinction between creationism and completely 100% atheistic evolution is really indicative of the harsh duality of most fundamentalist minds. Just like when you were a little child, there was absolute good versus absolute evil, and absolute right versus absolute wrong. There was no gray, there was no mixing of them. The idea that something could or could not be right, or it may have been a little of both, was completely alien to little children because they think in simplistic terms. Eric also seems to think that if the Bible isn't 100% literally word for word true, then the only alternative is 100% completely atheistic philosophical naturalism, which he shoves into the definition of evolution.